2 p.m. Time for the Judge Podcast. It's the Judge, the legend. Let's have blast. We talking sports, politics, current events. We gonna be live, so let it make sense. It's the Judge Podcast. Let's go. The Judge Podcast. Let's go. Wednesday at 2 p.m. Let's go. Hosted by the Judge and the legend. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Welcome to another great show. It's a blessing to be here today, and we have a great person on the show today who's going to be here and explain so much stuff to us about life and growing up, politics, the whole nine. Give it up to the great Kwame Kilpatrick, okay?
Yes, sir. It's good to be here. I'm good. I'm real good.
It's the Judge Podcast.
You know,
Let's go.
There's a few people that come by that remember the Judge when he was the Judge.
Hosted by the Judge and the Let's
You know,
Go.
shoot and jump, boy. Boy, if they'd have had a three-pointer, boy.
I would have been tough.
What? No, you were tough anyway. But it'd have been like 73. He got 73 last night. So yeah, the Judge.
Oh man, it's such an honor to have you on the show, man. I've been wanting to get you, man. Hey, tell everybody how you grew up in high school, your childhood career, and the great mom and dad. Give us everything.
Okay, real quick, the short version. I grew up on the west side of the city of Detroit, Linwood and the Boulevard. You know, I like to tell everybody my whole family lived with
Wednesday at 2 p.m.
We went from
Let's
the
go.
Boulevard to about Chicago,
Let's
and then from 12th Street over
Hosted
to
by the Judge and the
everybody
legend.
lived right there.
Let's
so
go.
in that little area.
Let's
But
go.
that was my playground. My church was in that area.
Let's go.
Let's all my friends was in that area. I went to Fairbanks Elementary
Let's
School
go.
right there in John C. Lodge from
Hosted
kindergarten to 5th grade.
by the Judge and the legend. Let's go.
Fairbanks was a great elementary school. Yeah, Dr. Malone and
Let's
Miss
go.
Mobley, the principal. I still
Let's
remember them.
go.
They were special. That was a special school. Left there and I went to Pelham
What's the
Middle
Judge
School over on
Podcast?
Martin Luther King. I was
Let's
supposed to go to
go.
Hutchins. And my mother said, no way. So we ain't going to Hutchins. I went to Pelham,
Hosted by the
but I
Judge and the
messed up in
legend.
6th grade.
Let's
And
go.
so my mother, it was the first time I ever got like a C. I had gotten A's and B's all elementary school. But
Let's
went to
go.
Pelham, got like a C. It was my first time. I skipped school.
Let's
I,
go.
I didn't like it. We was out
By
there. I
the
was like,
Judge
what we
and the
supposed to do
legend.
out here? Man, I want to go back to school. You know?
Let's go.
But in 7th grade, my mother took me
Let's
to
go.
Lansing.
Let's
So I went
go.
to Lansing for 7th and
Hosted
8th
by the
grade
Judge and the legend.
at Dwight Rich
Let's
Middle
go.
School in
Let's
Lansing.
go.
My mother took me there. We would drive up at 5:30 in the
Let's
morning.
go.
She went to work to be a state legislator. And she would drop me and my sister off at our respective schools. And then when I left Lansing in 8th grade, I came back and went to Cass. So I got myself together up there, came back and went to Cass, you know.
To Lansing.
Yeah, no doubt. And once at Cass, you know, I played basketball and football. You know, I wanted to be a basketball player, but I stopped growing. So my game in high school, I was 6'1", 6'2", you know, playing a big man. You know, the game was changing. You ain't getting that. So I started firing up jumpers there. I got to... Yeah, I'm shooting. Hey, let's just get to see if this works. And no, but I was actually all right in football. I started getting scholarship offers around here, Bowling Green, Central Michigan. And I went down to FAMU. I had never been to a black college. I'd never seen that.
Give it up to FMU.
Man. So
Black school, okay.
me and Bernard Kilpatrick, my dad, they flew us down to FAMU. We went straight to the gym. And we went to the basketball game.
Okay.
And it was halftime. We got there late. We sat down, and the band stood up and played that Dougie Fresh. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. and the girls was there. Boo, boo, boo. I said, "Oh no, I'm coming here. I ain't seen a classroom, a major." I said, "No, this special. I'm coming right here." And
Yes, it is.
I signed and went to Florida A&M on the football scholarship. I ended up doing well. Made all conference a couple years. My junior, senior year. Made All American my senior year.
Wow, give it up to him for that. Come on. Come on now.
You know, the Detroit boys, when they get there, they do all right now. They do all right. And so we played the Heritage Bowl my senior year. I ruptured 2 discs in my back, came back to University of Michigan, had the surgery. Dr. Julian Hough. Shout out to Dr. Julian Hough because
yes, sir. I know Doc.
I have not had a problem with my back since that surgery. And everybody told me, you're going to have a problem, you're going to have a problem. Dr. Hough said, you ain't going to have no problem, I got you. But I couldn't play no more. And so I went to the Detroit Public Schools. I started teaching at Marcus Garvey Academy.
Wow.
Taught there 7th and 8th grade, social studies, and then the math teacher went out, so I started teaching math for a year, 2 years. And so when I was there, I decided to run for state representative.
Wow.
My mother was running for Congress. Yeah.
Wow.
So I said,
Following my footsteps.
25 years old, I said, I'm in. Let's ride.
Man,
And so
let's go for it.
I ran. Nobody thought I could win. We had a bunch of those casts, 1988 people that went to school with me. They out there with me passing out stuff. We won. We won the race. I go to Lansing. I become the first freshman to chair a committee.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, I ran for the floor leader of the House. And that's the number 2 position in the Democratic Party. And I won. I was the first black person and first African American to hold that position in the caucus. And then I ran for the top spot 2 years later, and I won that. I was the youngest person and the first African American to have that. and Judge, back then, we actually did policy. We actually did bills, did legislation. We crafted the Detroit terminal down there on the riverfront through my committee when I was in Lansing. And so a lot of the stuff that was happening in, from the schools to some of the development, we were putting in legislation then. But about a year into that job as leader, I ran for mayor of the city of Detroit.
Wow.
So I was 30 then when I started running.
30. And how old were you when you became mayor?
31.
I know it. I won't ever know. 31.
31.
Man, the youngest
31
mayor
years
of all
old.
time. Man, for the young kids, Kwame, tell them, how do you run and get into politics? I mean, what's the angle you must take to, we know about sports. You were All-American, I was All-American. And kids kind of know about sports, but a lot of our kids don't know too much about politics.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, politics has changed so much. They fight over everything now. It didn't used to be like that. And parties take positions on social issues. That didn't happen. Like if you, let's just take one, LGBT stuff.
Right.
If you was for it, vote for it. If you were against it, vote against it. But it wasn't a Democratic Party issue. It wasn't a Republican Party anti. You had gay cats that was Republican, gay cats that was Democrats. Right. So, they fight over everything. Abortion wasn't a Democratic or Republican issue. It was, listen, if you think you should be pro-choice and a woman this should be legal, vote for it. If you think we should not have abortion, vote for that. So a lot of the issues back then, and that's why I'm saying this, because young people need to get back to that.
Right.
Some of these issues ain't worth fighting over because you don't get nothing else done because you spend half the year fighting over the issues that you should just let people be themselves. Yeah. Whatever you feel like on them issues. Right. But I would say to a young person that want to get in politics, build yourself first. Don't even find a person to be like. Build you first, because the difference is what wins.
Right.
Not somebody that's trying to be like Obama or trying to be like Kwame or trying to be like Coleman Young. Yeah. Listen, who are you? And if you can manifest in the room, the real you, from where you from, right from the schools you from, you ain't had to have no special this or special that. You good all by yourself, and you enough when you walk in the room, own it. Right. Own the room. Own it. And then you can learn the politics, Yeah. I tell people all the time, I ain't had no confidence problem.
Right.
The confidence wasn't the issue.
Right there.
Character was my issue. It wasn't confidence, and that's the thing. I knew what I believed in. I knew who I am. I knew I was. And that's the thing that I think most young people now don't get because of social media and YouTube. They are trying to be like every new thing, every new fad. They got to do the TikTok dance. You know? I didn't know all this before I got a 15-year-old in the house. You know? And so now, because when Jelani Jalil was 15 years old, all that wasn't really out yet. They was balling. They was doing the same thing. And
you did.
But now you got to go. You got to learn this one, Dad. I mean, like that. I'm not yeah.
You ain't cool with me on that.
Right.
You gotta twirl
it up, right? I'm like, man, come on, man. But they are being defined every single day. Me and you didn't have to worry about that. We ain't had no phone. We ain't had no beeper. We had no phone.
You couldn't contact me.
You couldn't contact us. We was going home, school, practice, and wasn't nobody trying to influence to be nobody else.
Right.
Your coaches, were telling you, man, just be the baddest dude you can be right here.
That's it, man.
And I just think that's
it wasn't no social media. And social media was terrible, man. I mean, like today, man, I coach AAU, man. I coach kids. I've been doing it like over 20 years, man. And Here the kid made 6 points, and I look on Facebook, his mama got him on there like he a superstar. Yeah. He only had 6 points.
Right. And now he believes he's good enough because he got 120 likes.
That's right.
So now you ain't going to work on your game. You're just trying to get one dunk. Right. If I get one dunk, did y'all get that? Did y'all get that? And I just, man, that ain't, man, listen, man.
It's a lot more to it, man.
A lot more. That one dunk ain't going to get you in the league. It ain't going to get you to the college.
I had to tell this parent, I said, please, ma'am, don't put him on there like that. He only had 6 points. Now, we won at everything, the team, but he only had 6 points. He's not a superstar.
Right.
And don't put that perception in his mind. Let him work and earn everything,
Yeah, we in a generation that we gotta say good stuff all the time, man.
All the time.
My son come up, I did that. I was like, that was all right, but you didn't play no defense.
Thank you.
You gotta get back on D. Like you you hit a jumper, you sitting there like this, looking at the crowd. They got a layup,
Your man done went by you and scored.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know Perry wasn't into that. You better get, because one thing Southwestern did, y'all played defense, boy. Look at here.
Man.
We played Southwestern at Cass, and man, them guys, they played. That was the first game where I understood that basketball is a contact sport. Yeah.
Give it up to Perry Watson. Oh, yeah. Coach tell you, he say, man, hey, you better put some wood on him. What you scared of?
Man, them guys were strong, man. I'm like, man. And that was like Derek Vineyard and them.
DV, man.
Look,
my
man.
boy, man.
Yeah, them guys were strong, man. Like, man, what these dudes grown men, we kids,
grown men, man.
Get up again?
Yeah, man. God bless Derek. He just passed. He got a bad. Yes, he got a great son. Just graduated out of Ferndale, man. 6'8", he can play, man.
Wow, I didn't know he passed away, man.
He
Condolences
just died
to his
this
family.
year,
Oh, man.
Derek played with me, man.
No
That's
doubt.
a bad boy, man.
Man, he was nice, man.
Yeah, that was my guy,
All
man.
them guys, man, listen, for about 20 years, at least 16, 17 years, y'all was the spot.
Yeah, we were, man.
No, man, listen, because when Anderson Hunt and them came, that was around the time I was there.
That was when you were playing.
Man, listen, we was like, we didn't want to see them.
Right.
We don't want to see them.
Rocking, man.
And then after us, Jalen and them, they was
Jalen, them, man. It was just, man. And man, the thing I didn't know, man, that Perry Watson was so young when I was young.
Yes.
You usually think that your coach is old.
Yeah.
He looked younger than you when you. Right. He did when he was here. Right. Give it up to Perry. I didn't know he was so young. I said, Coach, you young, man. He said, yeah.
I'm 55. I'll be 56 in a month. When I used to hear in high school somebody was 56 years old, they was old, man.
Right.
And now I'm like, no, they ain't old. No.
I'm still about
man. Listen, man, we good, man. I can still shoot it a little bit.
I'm still in my prime, man. Man, I wanted to also say all the the great things that you brought to Detroit when you were mayor, man. You brought the Super Bowl. You brought the Final Four. Give it up to him. It had never been here.
Yeah.
All the hotels you brought.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we forget to do in Detroit is to thank the people who were before us who paved the way.
Yeah.
You know, we don't. And so when you think about Coleman Young, and he went and got Mike Ilitch to make a commitment to come back downtown.
Right.
To bring the headquarters out of outside Wayne County and bring it to downtown Detroit. It started a whole lot of things. He got Main Street, that first little development done with Foxtown and all of that. So then when Dennis Archer came, he was able to work with the county and get Comerica Park.
Yes.
And get Ford Field.
Ford Field.
And that's when the Fords came in and said, hey, we want to do this Super Bowl. So then Kwame Kilpatrick comes in and they hand us this thing, get it done. And you got to come up with $26 million to do the streetscaping. So we came up and said, hey, we got to do this Campus Marshes. So 9 city departments, from underground utilities to lighting to planning development to public works, they all got together and totally redid downtown Detroit. All them thoroughly, Gratiot, Washington Boulevard, Woodward, all of those Grand River coming into downtown to totally redo it, totally lay it out different to make developable plots around. We even dug the hole. If they talking about the Hudson's building that's now open, we dug the hole for Hudson's and put the parking lot underneath. So then you can fill up all of those spots around there. We start filling up those spots, but then the mayors that come after, they could put more stores in there. So when I come now, I can see the manifestation of what was happening during that time. We got the riverfront. We did the riverfront from downtown to the Belle Isle Bridge.
Yeah, you started that.
Man, no doubt.
Give it up to the riverfront. Beautiful down there. I took my mother down there for the first time. My mother, 89, she'd never been to Belle Isle.
Wow.
In her life. And last Friday, we rode around and saw the river walk and everything. She was like, so amazed.
That is so awesome. That's awesome, man.
She was so like, wow, it's beautiful down there.
It is. It is. And so people, you know, a lot of press when they don't like you, and folk don't like Coleman Young, they don't like Kwame Kilpatrick. They try to give everything to somebody they like. But all of us played a role in Detroit's development.
Sure did. Give it up to you guys. You guys been a blessing, man.
I got to say this, too, give a shout out to moms, man, since we got the applause, man. Listen, I got to tell everybody, the Kresge Foundation came to us and said, we give you $50 million to do this Riverwalk, but you got to come up with $5 million to match it. Wow. And it can't be from another foundation. It got to come from the city. We want your skin in the game. And so we didn't have $5 million cash because we locked into a budget. Right. So I called a congresswoman. I said, hey, Congresswoman Kilpatrick, I need your help. And she was on appropriations. Mom got money reprogrammed, talked to her colleagues, and we got the $5 million to get to 50 and started the construction of the riverfront. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people that play a role. You know, Carl Levin, we got language change so he can get the Bates outfall so we can connect the West Riverfront to the East Riverfront. All that work was done when I left here. And so it was now, let's look west. And so then you got a lot of stuff that Mike Duggan was able to do. Man, I called Mike the first day I came in the city. I hadn't been here in years. I was riding down Woodward. I called him on the cell phone. We ended up going to breakfast at Eastern Market. But I said, man, you really did a good job, man. You finished all the tough stuff, man.
That's nice.
And I just want people to know that he's a continuation of the dream that Coleman Young had. You know, I want to develop the city from bridge to bridge, from the Ambassador Bridge to the Belle Isle Bridge, and it took generations of mayor to get that done. And I know, you know, if he was alive today, he'd be looking at it smiling. And
man, for sure. Give it up to the great Coleman Young. You know, man, Coleman gave me the key to the city, man.
Woo!
And, man, that was probably one of the greatest honors I ever had out of all my honors I've had in my life, man, to be honored, had a key, and I was only 17, 16.
Wow.
He handed me the key to the city of Detroit. And I'm like, man. and everybody loved Coleman Young at that time. I mean, he was famous like you. You know,
he was big fella.
Right,
He's the man. He's the big homie.
Yeah, he was the man. I was there. I'm like, I'm with the mayor. I was with the mayor, and he asked me that key, and he said, don't let them tell you nothing. That's all I remember. He said, don't let them tell you nothing. And I keep that in my mind all the time because I know what he's talking about.
No question. No
you know
question.
what I mean?
No question.
Keep striving, baby.
You got the key at 17, and I know people know that watch this podcast, but at 17 years old, I told my son this. I just told him because he met you. Remember we met at the Considine.
At the Considine.
And he said he was good. I said good. Let me tell you something, man. We have not had another player in the history of this town that demanded that much attention. Yeah. When you played at the move the game, y'all couldn't play at Southwestern. We was at the State Fair, Callahan Hall. We had to go somewhere, and you still couldn't get in.
You right.
You couldn't get in to see, man, the Judge playing. I used to be there for warm-ups with my dad, like, man, everybody looking at the Judge. This dude was pulling up right inside half court.
That's the good old days, man.
Man, look at here, but that was well earned, and you put the city on the map for really high school athletic. Yeah, then people was coming here getting all kind of talent after that, man. That was good.
After myself, you know, you had the great Derek Coleman, Steve Smith.
Yes.
You had Jalen Rose, Fashawn Leonard. You had Doug Smith,
big
Carlos Rogers.
Carlos Rogers,
Chris Webber, you go on and
Jalen and all. Howard Isley. Yeah,
Fashawn, Ivor Newbill.
You had a bunch of guys.
Man, and it's a blessing, man. I mean, being from Detroit has a stigma. Like when you was mayor, you was the most famous mayor in the country.
Big old 300-pound dude with them suits and that earring in his head, boy.
And like you say, lacking no confidence.
Man, listen, let's go ahead and get it.
That's one thing about us from Detroit. We have confidence.
Man, ain't no question.
And people take that as
arrogance. They take it as arrogance.
Yes, Kwame.
And, you know, I'm the product of what I saw growing up.
That's
and, you know, I didn't know it was arrogant. I just thought it was some Detroit stuff.
Yeah,
you know, we just know our Detroit thing. You know?
Hey, we from the city.
We from the city.
That's how we are.
When we traveled to New York, to Vegas, to everywhere, people would say, y'all from Detroit, ain't you?
Right.
Yeah, ain't no question.
They can tell the way we dress, the way we talk, you know, the way we act. Hey, you from Detroit.
You from Detroit.
Yeah.
But the crazy part, NFL come and say, we need you to raise $26 million and we need you to get it within 30 days.
Wow.
So we get Detroit Renaissance in a meeting. I got to go in there and convince them to put up $26 million cash so we can do the streets, streetscaping project, the lighting project for downtown Detroit, Campus Marshall, the whole thing, the whole Super Bowl.
Right.
You need that same Detroit thing to go in a room like that and be able to convince them that this is their Super Bowl too.
Right.
Yeah, this is us reintroducing ourselves to the world. Right. And you got to be confident and you got to help them to know that the return on their investment is immense when you talk about the world coming to Detroit to say good things about what they experienced here. And so it's kind of a crazy medium. Mike Duggan has tremendous confidence.
Yeah,
he goes into a place, but he ain't from Detroit. Like he ain't from Linwood, so
he ain't experienced that.
Yeah, so he don't look like that. He don't sound. His swag is not like that. So it's acceptable.
Right.
And you know, Dennis Archer. Dennis Archer was from Cassopolis, Michigan.
Yeah.
So he was a kinder, gentler guy. You know what I'm saying? We come in when we come in, people know we there. You know.
And we also had the great Dave Bing.
Yes.
Give it up to Mayor
Dave Bing. Yeah, DB. You know? He ain't from Detroit either, though.
That's right. You know? He's not from Detroit.
So it's like everybody was looking for somebody not from Detroit. I remember all of the plans to make Detroit better was always for Detroit to be like Chicago. And I was like, no, Chicago is Chicago, New York be like Detroit. And it took a group of non-Detroiters to come into the city and tell everybody that this city is really good. Our architecture is good. And so, and what they did is when I came back, those people are the people leading the development and not the people here. And that's the problem. They had to come tell you your city was all right, and they start buying up them cheap properties.
Yeah.
And now, in the North End where we are, you got houses over there selling for $400,000.
You know, I know.
Man, and it's like, man, we thought it was horrible and wretched because they was telling us that for our whole lives.
Right.
But they saw a gold mine.
And you know what? I want to give it up to you for starting it because you are the creator of the houses.
Man.
Of the product. Give it up to it.
Man.
You started people coming back and buying houses in Detroit.
Midtown development,
Midtown
downtown,
development, yes.
7 Mile Livernois,
Yes, you started.
Jefferson Chalmers and Jefferson
Yes.
Alta Road.
Yes.
We picked these development zones to kind of start bringing the city
Bringing
back.
everything, yeah.
And then all the events like the Final Four, the World Bowling thing, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Super Bowl, all of us that to reintroduce ourselves to
Yeah.
potential investors.
Right.
So when they came in town, we could talk to them about, we always had these investor roundtables. That's how we got Home Depot on 7 Mile and Schaefer.
Safer, yeah.
7 Mile and Schaefer. Myers. It's 7 Mile Myers.
Yeah.
Okay.
7
So that's how we
Myers.
got it out
Yep.
there, because when Home Depot came, they had their leaders. We pulled them to the side. Roger Penske was on the board of Home Depot.
Right.
And I said, man, you got to hook me up. Yeah,
Give it up to Roger Penske.
Roger Penske.
Okay.
Roger Penske was a major force in the development here. He was a bad dude, man.
Bad dude.
He's still alive, but he's just out the game.
Yeah,
now, you know?
he's
Yeah.
just chilling now.
But he was a phenomenal
he's
catalyst.
the bridge owner, right?
Oh, no. The bridge owner is Matty Maroon.
Matty
family.
Maroon.
Now,
family.
now he owned the bridge, the tunnel,
Right.
and he owned most of the land on the West Riverfront. Now he's passed, but Matty Maroon Jr. runs it. It's like
runs.
Roger Penske Jr.
Yeah.
runs that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they
yeah.
know how to keep it in the family.
They go, yeah. that's
Both of
what-
those guys are billionaires.
I have a question. The Penske brothers were also part of the Penske's that helped rebuild Chicago too, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
They
know.
were in Riverfront.
I have no idea. Roger Penske, he had the racing team.
Yeah.
And then after the racing team, he built the logistics company.
Yeah.
And then he was the largest car dealer owner in the country for a while, mostly in Arizona, but he sold all of those dealerships.
Roger Penske?
Roger Penske was a bad guy, man.
Wow.
Man, I went
didn't
down.
know that.
Actually, I'm gonna say this about Roger, Pete Carmanos, Jim Nicholson, John Ricotta, and even Dan Gilbert. They called me to a meeting. So I went to Washington and met with this guy, Alfonso Jackson. He was the head of HUD. He was an amazing blessing to Detroit. All the housing from Herman Gardens, but also the Book Cadillac. He gave us development money to finish the Book Cadillac. So, I mean, but I went in there one day and he said, who your white people? I said, what you mean? Why about white people? He said, man, you need some big white people, man. Who you got? This white? I was like, man, I got a good relationship. He said, no, I want you to be intentional.
All right.
I need you to call the biggest people in your town that own the biggest company, and they're white guys. I don't
Right.
want you to call the business guy. I want you to call the entrepreneurial guy. So I called them 5 people, and I
Okay.
asked them to meet one-on-one to mentor me. You know,
Okay.
and I showed up to the meeting with Pete Carmanos, and they all were there. Now I called to
Wow.
have individual meetings, and they all were there. When I walked in, they laughed.
They all in the
And
beat.
so, but it was a turning point in my life. That was in 2005. And so even in the case against me, though, the issues are from 2001 to 2005. They helped me. And this is what we need in our community. We need mentoring from people
Yes,
like
sir.
that. Our
Yes, sir.
mentoring comes...
Give it up to those guys for
Yeah.
mentoring, for the mentorship.
And so, I went into that room and they really, we were honest with each other, asking questions about why we put so much money in depreciating assets, jewelry and cars and clothes and how we need to think and reformat and restructure our mindset. And
right.
my years from 2005 to 2006, 2007, they were the best years that I had as mayor. We got more done. We got more stuff happening. I was able to go and see what they're doing in other places, and whether that was Florida, Ohio. And so, I mean, that job is one where whomever is in it, like now you have Mayor Sheffield, and I'm praying her success.
Yeah. Give it up for Mary Sheffield.
She's now making the transition from legislator to executive. And so she needs to go and intentionally reach out to some executives, not CEOs of DTE. And I'm talking about the people that are billionaires, not the people that got a job.
Right.
The people that started those companies, have relationships with those people, but you need to go to some of those other people because they're mavericks.
Right.
They have a different mindset. And they diligent and they organize. And you can help yourself structure how you think about the executive structure. So I'm hopeful that somebody is getting that kind of information to her, because I came from the state house. You just run elections. My mom had never been an executive. My dad has never been an executive.
Right.
I didn't know no billionaires. I didn't know no multimillionaires except for athletes.
Right. That's
you
it.
know?
That's it.
So we didn't have that in our community. The guy that run this company and that company, they didn't live down the street.
No.
Right.
And so it takes you to be intentional to go out and say, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah, like you say, man, the Dan Gilberts and those guys, those are great mentors because they're on another level far as the mindset.
No question.
And thinking up here. And like you was in the room with them, I know you was sweating a little bit, like they got me in here. They
no
want to
doubt.
know what's happening, okay?
Dan used to say stuff like when I met with him, and I said, we got to close the gap on such and such, so we got to deal with our pension fund and some things going on down there. He said, why don't you just do it?
Right.
I said, man, we don't have the money to do that right now. I got to figure out how to do it. Yeah, you just go ahead. They have this mindset
to go
that
get
just
it.
go get it.
Yeah, because
That's right.
For some reason, I always tell people they didn't always start like this.
No.
So a lot of times, what y'all think was what y'all doing bad, they have done worse already, and so their mindset is getting it done.
To get it
The
done.
whole livelihood about life is when you become a good swimmer. Like I learned, when people know how to swim, they just learn how to get it done. It's no excuses, because in the middle of swimming, you can't just stop.
Oh, you gonna drown.
That's good. and two people just along that, Pete Carmanos, who owns CompuWare, he's now retired with hundreds of millions of dollars, but and he's still around. But he grew up in Brightmoor. He went to Cass, graduated from Cass, and his parents owned a little restaurant in Brightmoor. He grew up working in his parents' restaurant.
Wow.
So-
Give it up to Pete Carmona.
So moving from there to being a multi-hundred millionaire, right up on a billionaire. And he would be a billionaire, but he gave so much to Carmanos Cancer Institute. So he gave a lot of money away. But just and his tenacity, when you sit and talk with him, he he wanted to do it. Be like, we going to get it,
Yeah.
And then you just said Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert grew up in Oak Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
But his parents' bar was right on the corner of 7 Mile and Woodward.
Yeah.
And he grew up working in his parents' bar. So these guys, like you said,
Give it up to Dan.
he been scratching since he was 11, 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. In business, you have to go get it.
Yeah.
You can't sit and wait. There's 3 types of people: those who wait, those who watch, and those who go get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's
good.
So I'm just learning. Like, listen to your stories. I'll be honest with you. I thank you, Judge, for bringing him, so they can hear him, because they don't hear you clearly when a whole bunch of chaos is in the
No
midst,
question,
right?
no question.
But
and the niggerization process. So you take a big old African American dude, you just want to make him a nigger.
And make him a target.
You make him a target. He want earrings and with women and strippers and this kind of stuff. And so, I went to Cass. I graduated with honors from Florida A&M. I went to law school. I passed the bar the first time.
Give it up to him. Give it up to him, okay?
But some kind of way, we want to make him fit this kind of narrative,
Right.
And when they came and did the hip hop mayor, they used to have cartoons on me with gold teeth and gold change and in the paper, and I'm like, man, but that's a part of the process.
Yes, it is.
Of separating black leadership from their own people. And so he over there doing this, and so like 90% of the stories about me are just not true. I like some of them, but they ain't true. I'd be like, that dude was cold blooded.
Hey, the media the media is something else. They
something else. They gonna write it now. They gonna write it.
So I gotta ask this: by you being a figure in history, how should media, black media, approach from this day forward? Politicians? Because one thing I've learned that there's a rule of thumb in politics, right? That nobody know until they get into it.
That's good.
And I have seen people like crumble, like stop doing what their original mission was, and just go with the flow. Mm-hmm. So how do a person who because if this country was stolen, we basing our lives off a stolen country, correct? Can y'all agree to that? Yes or no? You don't have to, because
you mean stolen from the Indians?
Yeah, well, just stolen. Oh. It's stolen from the Indians.
Oh yeah, it's takers. Takers made the country.
Right.
So how can we live by takers' rules? It's 1776 in the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
And it's still, and those laws still exist, correct? Mm-hmm. So we going off of things of 1776, and how is it going to be for us, or how can going forward, can the media say, okay, we got to pull the part out, like cut the niggerosity, whatever you said?
That's a real term, niggerization. But listen, what we do is we start claiming the same rights, privileges as people claimed in 1776.
That's right.
So they were really, really smart at first that they labeled blacks or slaves among sheepdog and cattle. That's Commonwealths of Virginia, Commonwealths of Pennsylvania, Maryland. We were sheepdog and cattle, so you had no humanity. When you get to the Constitution, that was 1776. 1787, we were given this moniker as 3/5 human beings.
Yes.
And so you never were human. But then you got people that were labeled among sheepdog and cattle that came off the plantation and fought diligently for whole personhood.
Right.
And I mean, we honor them by taking what they, a lot of them died trying to assert their privileges in this country.
Did.
And names like Frederick Douglass and Nat Turner and Absalom Jones and Richard Allen, we can't stop saying, oh no, it's their country. No, them people fought to get us included all the way through the 1960s.
That's right.
And once they included us in the Civil Rights Act, then from this point forward, you got to give me the same rights you get him. The argument changes to making sure that America for them is the same America that it has to be for us. Yeah. And I think that's what Martin Luther King was brilliant at. His movement would have been 15 minutes, but all he was asserting is that you got to live by the same Constitution you signed. And you said that I'm entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Absolutely.
I'm created equal. I'm a whole citizen. And at the end of the day, the most racist president we ever had, people talk about Trump, but Lyndon Baines Johnson used to use the N-word in the White House. He used to call people around there the N-word, talk people stuff. And a Southern Dixiecrat, he signed the 1964 Civil Rights Act because two reasons. One, it was too much pressure, but then two, he thought that he could keep black folks in the Democratic Party for generations. That part worked.
Right.
It worked out.
That worked. So we no longer had this thing. We were just beholden to the Democratic Party. And now from that point on, colleges had to do admissions.
Right.
The city of Detroit, which police department was pretty much all white, they had to hire black cops, black firefighters, black. So we start seeing stuff work for whole citizenship, but now you're starting to see the erosion of it because this generation that's here now don't even know how it happened.
Right.
And you got to be connected to it to be able to assert rights.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got a kingdom thing too, because the kingdom, you don't get rights, you get privileges. You get favor.
Yeah. And that's the reading again.
Yeah.
Knowledge. You got to
Absolutely.
know. You got to know where we come from. You got to study who was in front of you, like he was saying. The mayors in front of you, who paved the way for you.
They paved the way.
And you kept paving the way for the next mayors.
No question.
Yeah.
And that's what it is, mentorship.
Yeah.
So that's what I was asking. That's what I was saying about the media.
Yeah.
So though, like right now, I have I have to report certain things.
Right.
But I don't like to do the BS.
Right.
Because I've learned through the history. We are always going to catch the bad end, just from their end.
Right. Oh.
And then when the ours get hit ours, and then we do it, it just look like okay, they don't get it still to this day. So that's why I was asking them, like, what do media has to do in order to support the right side of black organizations and our people to go forward without having to say a two-sided thing. Well, yeah, Kwame good, but it should not be no buts.
Well,
when it comes down to people,
there used to be an outlet for particularly black elected officials to go in the black media, and then all of those papers were bought by white owners. And they most of them are closed now, shut down, but they merged them into what was happening in the larger paper. So all the black paper was doing is taking the story from the Free Press of the News.
Gotcha.
And they were just putting it in there, or they were being paid by them to put stories in the news. You know, Sam Logan over at the Chronicle, they had it for years. After a while, he was to keep it going. He was just taking what they was putting over there.
Gotcha.
You know,
Right.
And so I think now, because what happened when segregation ended, because we wouldn't have had no civil rights movement if it wasn't for the black press.
Right.
You know, the papers like the Chronicle and the Pittsburgh Courier and all of those,
That's
you know,
right.
those papers were so important during that time because that's all we read.
That's all we had. Yeah.
And that was one of the blessings of segregation. Now, in integration, it's a tremendous blessing. You can go anywhere, but you also can go away from everything. So I can choose. I don't want to be around no black folks. I don't want to live. You know? I don't want to live. So what happened is there's not the group think happens through social media, not through the traditional media now.
Right.
The social media has become the great equalizer, man. Listen, I don't care if the New York Times put something out. A person can say, Diddy did this, and it's over. It's go
over,
viral.
man.
I got it.
Yeah.
And so we got to learn how to coordinate a little bit more our media strategy. That if I give you a story, an exclusive, how do we put 4 or 5 people in the room to get the same story? And send out, and we all can go viral with the story, and that way we all make money. Because at the end of the day, we want you to survive too and thrive.
Right.
And so I don't know, y'all know better than me how that works. But if we don't master
we don't. But that's no, we don't. And that's
we don't.
And that's the whole problem. Like you think about it, I always told people keep bragging about how rich the basketball players on the Pistons was, right? I was like, well, imagine how rich the owner is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got way more money. Give it up to Tom Gore.
That's the owner over there. Man, they gotta win, man.
They gotta win tonight.
They gotta win.
Let's go Pistons.
You praising the player about his finances, but the owner to sign his check.
Yeah, I heard Shaq talk about that.
You know, you have to really think about that, and people don't.
Yeah.
And Detroit is an entrepreneurial city. Like, this is probably the only city in America where you can go and see strips of streets and people have their own businesses that's black owned. Mm-hmm. And they don't trust the black media. You feel me?
Right.
And it's all because I'm just trying to understand, saying, hey, y'all, we got a podcast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who watch our podcast. Yeah, how many? Now, you want me to lie to you? You want me to tell you the truth? It only take one person to change the trajectory of anybody's business.
Yeah.
If one person walked in, you'd be looking like, oh, shit, there, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, that didn't matter to them, though, because, well, I paid $600. Man, you got $60,000 worth of
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't trust the black media. So that's why I asked you that question.
They don't trust the traditional media either, but they repeat what they say.
Exactly.
So because that's
There you
comes,
go.
the
There you
media
go.
say something. Oh man, and they had Kwame on there because
They said he said this and that.
Listen, the editor of the Free Press told me, he said, listen, when I have your name on the front page of my paper, it sells more. He said, so
you
I got to
go.
keep you there.
Yeah.
I said, man, that's cold-blooded. He said, I'm just being truthful.
That's
And you know what, I appreciated it. But what our people don't understand is they can write anything on a headline.
Hell yeah.
Because in the story, it'll say allegedly.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how people are so twisted by that. I don't believe nothing I see until I know.
No,
that's right.
And what
That's
I don't
right.
do is pass it around.
Right.
But that's
right.
because I've been hurt by it.
Perfect.
You know, Jelani, Jaleel, and Jonas, they don't believe nothing in the paper because they've been sitting there with me when they came on the news and said, he's here now in this building. And I'm like, what? He's at home. You know? Yeah, we don't know if he's still inside or he's in there, but sources tell us he's still in the building. And I'm like, man, I'm at the house, man. Y'all tripping, man.
You at the crib.
They've seen a real life example of how they'll say, how can they do that? You're not there, you're here. And they're 12 years old, 11 years old. They're like, but they grew up just knowing that this stuff it's shock journalism. So the regular traditional media, they chasing all of the social media stuff. They chasing the reality shows. So to really be and now these papers are dying all over the country because they can't keep up with somebody on social media just saying 24 hours. You know, Kwame Kilpatrick died today. It's crazy. I got 10 phone calls one day that somebody said he's dead.
Yeah.
So man, you called me, bro.
They put that stuff on social media. Your birthday and then your death day. You be like, that ain't me.
That ain't me, man. I'm right here.
Damn,
so
man.
we just gotta be smarter about how we take in information and how we use it.
Yeah,
because
that's why Dr. Sabrina is so good. Not to cut you off, but you know, the mental expert. You need people like that, especially when you a celebrity and a star. Yeah. Because there's so much positive and negative coming at you at all times. You're an athlete. You got good performance, you got bad performance. They're going to talk about your sex life. They're going to talk about your off-the-court activities. When you're a politician, it's the same thing. He's dating such and such. We saw him at the hotel eating with such and such. Right. It could be lies. Yeah. But if it go in that media, it's like, boom, it spreads like wildflowers, you know? So you just gotta have that mental strength to stay away from that. Man, they did me like that because I lived like a rock star. Right. You know, I had limousines, I had fur coats.
In high school.
Right. I had leather pants, I had money.
Right.
I mean, and they, you know, today they giving kids these things.
Right.
But when I did it, I was a villain.
That's because
I was a bad guy.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. That's, you know, times change, people change, but the media, you know, they can change on you.
Yeah, I mean, they will change on you.
Yes, they can change on you in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
I start living like that and wearing stuff and, you know, dressing the way I supposed to. Now I'm a bad guy.
Right.
You know, I mean, how am I a bad guy? I never did nothing wrong.
I tell everybody, they did it to Jesus, right? You know, we just celebrated this. On Sunday, he was riding into town. They was waving palms saying, Hosanna.
Yeah. That's
Hosanna
right.
to the highest. They cheering. The crowd was cheering.
That's right.
The following Friday, the same people was screaming, crucify him.
Ain't that crazy?
So the media then it was big.
Way back
But way back then, he's Beelzebub. He's the devil. He's horrible. They was doing all of that, and these people said, "Crucify, give us Barabbas, give us the dude that is a criminal, but kill him."
Kill. Jesus.
And so now they getting fancy. They got lights. They got production studios. They got real pretty women in tight dresses telling you to believe this. And so now people are saying, you know, I gotta believe it. It was on TV.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so we can't. We just got to keep moving.
Yeah.
We just got to keep moving.
That's all you gotta do. Hold your head up to the sky. Keep your head up to the sky.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. Shout out to Earth, Wind and Fire.
Do we keep going with shields behind us, or do we keep forward with swords in front of us?
Hey, put that number back up for me. No, we keep fighting, man. You know, we keep going with the shield and the sword.
That's
you know,
good.
Yeah,
and when they hit us, we block it and come with our sword.
That's good.
Man.
You gotta have both.
Yeah, the reason I had asked that because there's all fear and love and war. Correct.
To call in. The number is 810-560-0658. Once again, 810. 810-560-0658.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know we was live.
Oh, yeah.
We right. This happening right now.
Right now,
Oh,
baby.
man, I should have told some people to come on here.
Yeah, we live right now, baby. Look at Gwen.
Yeah.
Look at her. All right. Yes, it is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we just. I mean, you got a lot of people who are saying, "Why is nationality important?" And is it black nationality?
Hey, Rhea.
No, that's people that them probably Moors. That, you know, they talking about that nationality. That's somebody that's a Moor right there. You ain't hiding. I can see you. No, black is not a nationality. But at the same time, nationality is even becoming less and less important in a generation of people that don't even respect boundaries at all. With the advent of social media, the advent of AI, the advent of doing business within seconds over several different countries and continents, the nationality argument is also paling in a lot of different areas of society. Yeah. Now, if we're just talking about asserting rights,
yes,
and the rights of a country, then the nationality matters because that country would have rights. Yeah. But if we're talking about the argument of black versus the nationality, and listen, you know, the Chinese people in America, they have a nationality.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
But if Chinese people in America shoot somebody on Woodward in the Boulevard, they going to American Michigan prison. They going right to prison. I bet about them in there. You know.
I bet you did.
So I mean, we have to break down that argument and what we're trying to use that argument for. There's a place where it can work, but. What we talking about is commerce and news, and the news goes around the world at the speed of light. Now, this thing is, some people have these bots on the social media stuff. There was a bot on a social media post on me the other day that I said that the 2020 election, they cheated in Michigan and all this kind of stuff. And it was like tens of thousands of accounts. Now listen, y'all, that's the most fake news, fake thing ever, because in 2020 I was locked up. I wasn't thinking about the election, and now I'm thinking about how do I get out of here? I ain't weighing in on no politics, but they put it on there. People believe it, and they commenting on the meme.
See, that's what
like
we're
it's
talking
true.
about.
And so that's, you know, it was all the way in Mexico and everywhere else.
A lot of people believe what they read, but don't know how to read what they read.
Right. Hey, tell us about, clear up this for the fans. I already know, but everybody said you real good friends with Donald Trump. Tell us about that. Because he pardoned you.
I don't even know if he has real good friends. You know, he's a Lone Ranger. He really is. I never met Donald Trump. I didn't know him from a can of paint. I didn't know him at all. I was a Republican. I was a Democrat. This is how I can put this story in perspective. Van Jones, y'all know him, be on CNN, talking head. So I was locked up in the SHU, 225 days. I was in the hole. Wow. I went home from the SHU. And so I'm in there. They give me my man let me out, get me to the computer. I hit Van Jones. Okay. And I said, hey, man, listen, man, you going in, because I saw on CNN, or I was listening to it with the earbuds, and I heard on CNN he was going to the meetings about criminal justice reform that Trump was having at the time at the White House. I said, Van. So I hit him. I was like, Van, what's up, man? Listen, when you go in there, get me up out of here, right? Van Jones said, there's no way this white Republican is going to help this black Democrat. Why would he do it? I said, he doing it because God is in this, man, and he never hit me back. So I'm in there praying the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord, and like the rivers of water, he could turn it whichever way he pleases. Turn President Trump's heart towards me. Amen. So I'm praying that for 200 days. So unbeknownst to me, it's people, white, black, Republican, Democrat, going to Jared Kushner, Donald Trump. They trying to get this, to get me out. I don't even know these people. Most of them I don't even know. This is God just moved so much on my behalf. And then Alice Johnson, who I did not know then, She said she was doing a speech in Ohio, and a woman walked up to her and said, "Hey, this is a letter of get my mayor out of prison." A little old lady from Detroit.
Wow.
And she said, "Okay." So she went to the room that night. She said, "The Lord just had you on my heart." So I got up and read the letter. It was a piece of paper, and I've seen the piece of paper. It was something I did on a jailhouse computer about why my case was unfair. And she took that and she went to the White House. And at the same time, this dude that lives in Pontiac right now, he's a pastor. And Keon Payton, he's a pastor in Pontiac. He was doing stuff for the religious leaders. He went to Bishop Sheard right here in Detroit, and Bishop Sheard gave him the same paper that I did on the thing. And so when they got to the White House, they were the only two black folks there.
Wow.
They have a conversation. They meet each other. What are you going to talk to them about? And they said this was different stuff. And one of the things I'm going to talk to the president about is that he helped Kwame Kilpatrick. He's a former mayor of Detroit. He's locked up. She was like, I got the piece of paper. He had the same paper. They go in the room and they ask President Trump. They give the paper to his assistant.
Wow.
Jared Kushner, I talked to him when I got out. He said, I got papers from you from white, black, Republicans, Democrats. January 12th, everybody, this is what happened. January 12th, 2021. This is after, this is breaking news. After January 6th, and people going crazy at the White House, you know, and all this stuff is happening, which is crazy. If you in the shoe and all of that was happening, you know, dude, I had my man come to me and be saying, hey, big homie, they went crazy out there at the Capitol, man. They kicking in windows, they peeing in there. I said, what? You know, if y'all could imagine not seeing that on TV and somebody trying to tell you about, and it was a dude from Arkansas that was crazy. You know? Man, I'm telling you, baby, I'm telling you, they going crazy up in there. I'm like, man, stop, man. You know, whatever, man, just stop. No, for real, with Pelosi and them, man, they peeing in there. I said, no, man. But anyway, so January 12th. Donald Trump calls Alice Johnson to his office and say, hey, I'm leaving office in 8 days. I just want to talk to you, see what you need. She comes to the office. This is favor. She comes to the office. Jared Kushner, the White House counsel, Alice Johnson, and the president, only 4 people in the Oval Office.
Wow.
He said, what can I help you with, Alice? Alice gives him a list with 3 names on it. One of those names was my name.
Wow.
And says, if you could give commutations to these people, that would be awesome. Jared then weighs in and said, man, I've been hearing about this dude from a lot of different people.
Right.
And so I talked to the 2 people. The White House counsel stands up and said, over my dead body, don't let him out. Now, the other 2 people, I ain't going to say their names, but they had life plus 25. One of them had murder conspiracy on this case and everything. The White House counsel had no problem with none of them. Wow. Just Kwame Kilpatrick. No, let him out over my dead body. They ain't want me up out of there, right? And the president said this. I got this from Alice and from Jared because she said, sit down, because Alice and her was standing up. All right, sit down, you. Sit down. He said, Alice, I'm going to help you guy. What else we got? Wow. That's all he said. That was on the evening of January 12th. If you look at my commutation, it was signed 8:41 a.m. on January 13th by the president. He just did what he said he was doing. He didn't know me from Adam's house cat.
Wow.
He didn't know me. And everybody, had a plan.
Give it up to Trump.
He had a plan. He wanted you to help him in the election and all that. Listen, he wasn't even running. He was leaving. There was no plan. Stop it. So it was just God. People don't like when it's just God doing something. He embargoed that decision to the 20th. I walked from the inner parts of the prison out the front door with no chains on for the first time in almost 8 years. Got on a Delta flight I didn't pay for, and I was in my mama's living room that afternoon.
That's dope.
And so that's what happened. That's how I got out.
Can't stop God's favor.
And then lastly, because everybody's saying that, Judge, because I supported him during the campaign, he never asked me to support him. Mm-hmm. I went down there because I've been trying to see him since I got out, since 2021.
Just say thanks.
I was trying to get to New York. Remember, he wasn't the president.
Right.
So I'm trying to get to New York. I'm trying to see him. My sons wanted to go, Jelani, Jaleel, and Jonas wanted to go see him so we can shake his hand.
Right.
And so I'm like, man, I'm trying to work it out. I don't work it out. Now, another real quick story. I'm in Costco. We in Georgia. We come to Detroit to spend Christmas here, but we say we had an Airbnb. Okay. I go to Costco right there on M5.
Okay.
I go to Costco on M5. I'm in there. We shopping. It's the 23rd. And I'm in there, and it's this white guy following me around. He got on
Secret Service.
He got on shorts and a golf shirt with a tan. It's about 6 degrees outside. So I say, this dude nuts. This dude nuts, man. I said, babe, look at this dude. You see him following us? And then he finally come up to me and he said, are you Kwame Kilpatrick? So I said, yeah, I am. What's your name? I get it, that black man. What's your name, man? You know? I shake his hand. He said, how do you feel about Donald Trump? And I tell him, man, listen, man, he did this, he did that, man. How would you feel about a person that did that? And he said, well, how would you like to meet him? I said, I've been trying to meet him for a couple of years, man. I can't get to him. He said, I was with him this morning. Then I'm thinking, this dude is nuts, right?
Right. It's crazy.
I was with him this morning. We was playing golf, and he asked about you. He asked how you were doing. I said, hey, I don't know. You know what? I know some people in Detroit. He said, I just came from the airport from Palm Beach. I just came here because I always spend Christmas with my grandkids, and I see you, and I had a conversation about you this morning. I said, for real? Yeah, okay. He said, look, he pulls out his cell phone. He on the golf course with a picture of Donald Trump with the same outfit.
He had on, right?
The same outfit he got on. And he said, man, it's just, I said, okay, all right. He said, listen, give me your number. I'm going to get you down to see him. I said, all right. So my wife's there, my kids are there. So we leave. Mm-hmm. I go back to the house. I'm in there, Yeah, this dude, that was something. That dude called on December 26th, said, man, we got you a plane ticket to come down to Mar-a-Lago to meet the president.
Wow.
So I said, okay, this is real. So I did. I went down there and, I met him at the golf club that morning. I was with him from like 10 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. And what I can say is he didn't change. He was the same Donald Trump the entire time. We talked politics, we talked different things, and he didn't ask me to support him.
Right.
He didn't ask me to support. He was talking about how do we win Michigan. I'm telling him. One of the things he said, how do we stop the cheating? And I said, Mr. President, ain't nobody cheat on you. They just better than you are.
Yeah.
The Democrats are better at getting votes out because they got all these institutions than the Republicans.
Yeah.
They're doing it through the absentee ballot process. And I said, when I went to the election, I had 30,000 votes going into the election day.
Right. Yeah.
I would, if I saw the margin that I needed to get, I would start claiming victory before. Oh, we won this. And it wasn't that I cheated. It was that we understood how to work the electorate and work the polls and work the absentee ballots. And so he liked it. We had a good time. We had dinner at Mar-a-Lago. I brought a suit. Carolyn Kilpatrick, boy, she said, take a jacket. We had a way to go. So I took my jacket.
That's nice.
And then I went home. And then, I do this work with a lot of people that's still locked up. I told you I had 2 lifers. I don't know if I told you I had 2 lifers at Selly's, and we was trying to get them out. Both of them dudes was in there for the Biden crime bill.
Wow.
So there was no way I was supporting Joe Biden.
Right.
And Joe Biden has done some wickedness in our community. We just need a show to really understand who this guy is. Not who he was in the last years with Obama and this. I'm talking about who he was for the previous 30 years.
Right.
When he was with a New South Democrat guy, when he was doing all of the busing, anti-busing, all of the anti-civil rights legislation. Then he did the crime bill, which locked up whole communities around the country of black men.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the effect and impact of Joe Biden is devastating. Like, Trump can get on your nerves. Right. He can talk a lot of stuff. He can make gas high. But he did to the black community what's going on now with the Mexican community.
Yeah.
Where people were just disappearing.
Yeah. Wow.
Mexicans ain't supposed to like Donald Trump in America.
Hell no.
They're not supposed to. But if 20 years from now, 10 years from now, if they all come out and say, yay, Donald Trump, then something wrong with them. Like they kicked your dad out, your kids.
It's same thing with politics, period.
It is.
If people look at it as a whole on how we are treated then and treated now, it's similar, except so there's no dogs and no water holes, right?
Yeah.
And we have to understand that. And if you don't understand it, then it's something wrong with the teachings that's inside of your house. So
Yeah.
And I grew up at a time where I was a Democrat, the Republicans were evil. But as I worked through the process, I got a lot done with Republican.
Yeah.
You know, we got that book Cadillac stuff, the Riverfront, all that was because I was able to go to the Republicans and say this is good for everybody.
Hell, Frederick Douglass was a Republican.
You know, and so we got to really understand that a lot of this is just for you.
Yeah.
I used to write bills for my candidate in the North that says, stop the giant sucking sound out of Detroit. They taking your money.
Damn.
I used to write the thing, so I wanted him to win so he could vote for me as leader.
Right.
So a lot of this is wag the dog type stuff, and we get so susceptible to what they saying. We forgot to really understand what they're doing. And that's the thing that I would love to do with political education if people just calm down. Because they want you emotional. Black folks, we love to be emotional.
And want to fight.
Yeah.
They want to fight.
Man, everybody black ain't your king.
Damn so true.
Yeah, and everybody white ain't your enemy.
True. That's true.
What's the issue? We think, okay, I can give you a perfect example. I wanted to start male academies in Detroit. I wanted to make sure we had male academies where men went to school, boys went to school together, where men was teaching them, we could raise up. You know who was against that? The teachers unions and black people.
Right, that's crazy.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
why wouldn't we want all men? The Nation of Islam, if they say it, it sounds
It's
good.
okay,
Yeah, but if Kwame is saying, no, listen, man, we need to get these knucklehead boys in the room, man, and start talking to them and dealing with them as men.
Yeah.
I know we about to be finished, but I love being here.
Yeah, man.
This is all right.
I wanted to thank you too for all the park and recreation that you presented for the kids in the community.
Amen.
They don't give you any props for that. Also giving on your way out, giving the Considine where we work at now. Giving us the opportunity to bring the community back in that, man. It's such a blessing. And before we go, tell us about your ministry that you do and everything, man. People got to know about that.
We are the City of Freedom. You know, I think that most people are bound by something, and a lot of us are bound by religion. We don't really know who Jesus is. Some of us go to church and they doing all that shouting and dancing around. You're like, what is this? But there's a reason for the shout for some people, but we need to know what that is. And so, City of Freedom, we meet every Saturday, 1 p.m. We stir up love and good works with one another, but we also learn the word together. It changed my life. It changed my understanding of things.
That's right.
And we're at the Considine, 8904 Woodward Avenue, right next door to Northern High School, the old Northern High School. Y'all come on in on Saturdays at 1 p.m. and just get free. We believe that people are captive by something, and there are more prisons than those that are physical institutions. And some people are bound by poverty or bound by some health issue or bound by unforgiveness or traumatic experiences like sexual abuse. And we want you out of that prison and be free.
That's right. And come out and enjoy and live and learn.
Yeah.
And sharing love.
Yeah.
You know, we giving love there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's what we need more of in America. Is to love each other, stop the violence, put those guns away, stop them fist fights.
Yeah.
Man, I be watching on Facebook and there's so many girls fist fights. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's the new, they the new fighters.
We talked about that today. We was talking about distractions.
Right.
We was talking about the disturbance in our community, and it's a lot of things about women fighting.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man.
It's something about children seeing the head of their household fighting. They're not gonna do nothing but fight themselves. Because the majority of them is not married, so they're on the street fighting.
That's right.
And a lot of them had their kids around them.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, and the mothers is encouraged to stop it, mothers. We love you. We love you. Put love in the air. Number love.
Stop
man.
it, mothers.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
but we got to put some onus on us because most of them are by themselves and like that too because we didn't step up and do what we were supposed to do. And so, men, it's time for you to come on back home, man. Let's come on, be leaders in our own household. Amen?
Yeah. Amen. Well, the fans love you. They say they want you back in Detroit down there. They say they want you back. They thought you lived out of town, man. And, hey, man, it's such an honor to have you, man, all the time, man. Like I say, if not the greatest mayor, one of the greatest mayors ever. Yeah, you know, and I thought if things didn't go the way it was, you would be president by now.
Wow.
You know, that's how great I thought you were.
Thank you, Lord.
Me too. I said he might be the first black president when you first got elected.
Yeah.
Obama was perfect for that.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
he definitely was perfect.
He just ain't from Linwood. It'd have been rough being in that position for Linwood. They said it's time to get rid of this.
Man, that would have been perfect, man.
Amen.
It would have been perfect. But we'll see you guys next week on the Judge and the Legend podcast. Come on back, Los. We waiting on you.
Yeah, it's Wednesday at 2 p.m. Time for the Judge podcast. It's the Judge, the Legend. Let's have blast. We talking sports, politics, current events. We gonna be live, so let it make sense. It's the Judge podcast.